Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. A negative mindset will never resolve a difficult situation. That is exactly what was seen in my phone just now, right before I turned on the camera. Hecka greasy because I just got out the shower, did too much Vaseline there, but yeah, I just got some paperwork in the mail. Well, no, it was served to my door actually, about 20 minutes ago, confirming the granting of the trial, essentially, for the eviction of this here person. That's at least what my interpretation of the paperwork said. I don't understand, I'm not a lawyer, but notice of ruling. The hearing was granted on the 17th, which was what the paperwork had told me already, and that now they're going to move forward and allow for the trial to take place, which would then, according to that paperwork, be on June the 21st. So we'll see if they show up this time. But it's just one of those situations where my spirit is so much stronger than it was the last time this last go round went. With the Lord having it so that they didn't show up, I was able to gain a great deal of faith. Like, wow, he came through again. And so now it's like, not that he's going to come through again, but that faith can be applied and he'll come through some way. So that's what we're doing here. I'm feeling good because I know what didn't work last time when I was trying to cope with my energy, going at it the wrong way, being defeatist, being fearful, not loving myself enough to say, yo, it's okay that you are in this position because you do have a legitimate reason for why you are, several, and it's also okay that you do some things differently going forward, or try to convince yourself by way of encouragement and positivity rather than scolding that you're strong enough to get out of the situation, you're strong enough to make good decisions, you're strong enough to keep prayerful and not make more things happen that you can't be appreciative of. So that's really where I'm at. I'm coming to you guys telling you that I don't necessarily have the temperament normally to get on here and tell you guys that something like this took place and that I'm usually in a weak space with this point in time, according to how I was doing things over the last 3 weeks. But I come to you today just a bit stronger, a bit more intent on fighting that, if for no other reason than just because I don't really know what else to do. Because what I did last time didn't work, you know what I mean? Going negatively and being all, let me lay down and not do anything type of energy. It just made for a weaker me, a less happy me, a less likely to trust God type of me, you know what I mean? More likely to fall victim to deserving worse of consequences when you least need to, you know what I mean? And it's like, I have a voice here on this channel, and I've made some terrible decisions throughout the process of having this channel. For what I've also done is kept consistent with my voice, and I've had a lot of encouragement from people in the comment section and people continuing to put likes on here, and it's just telling me that all of that are things that I've done in regards to this mistake not working and allowing my mental health to get this bad. It allowed for me to utilize the time to build this channel, to start and develop this art process, to continue my playlist curation project, and to just ultimately do all the things that I do in prayer and all the different stuff that I've done in isolation that hasn't been negative. Excuse me. I think the Lord wanted me to do those things. I think those things were impactful, and I'm hopeful that I don't regret any of it now that I'm in a space where it's all coming to a close, as it pertains to my living situation and my ability to stay in this isolation that has allowed me to have this type of freedom to make my content in the way that I did, to wake up at 3 a.m. and have conversations with you guys in the way that I did without needing to go to work. There's a lot of things that came with doing this way, and I don't regret it, even though I think that the desire to regret it may be ahead of me if things continue to go as they are with the stressful nature of what they are. And it's like, I don't wish that the Lord made me any different anymore. I think that was part of the essence of being negative. It was wishing that the Lord would have done something different, wishing the Lord would have made me different. I feel like I'm on the right path even now. You know what I'm saying? Like if my spirit is in the right space and I'm praying the right prayers, then it doesn't really matter that I've made bad decisions when I wasn't doing things right. It's just that I'm willing to get it right now. You know what I mean? That I'm willing to do some things differently right now, and so I feel more capable. Uh, I'm proud of myself in regards to my fitness. You know, I've been on the floor all morning, pushing my chest, getting myself in shape. You know, stretching my legs, trying to recover from a hard leg day yesterday. It's just a lot of stuff that I'm doing that lets me know that retreating into this space and doing it the way that I did allowed me to build a lot more than it's taken from me, even though it looks like it's about to take a lot from me right now. I think the shame of needing help is what pains me, because I know that I've had throughout the process of the situation. I once was in a financial position of strength, and I did not get mental help for that. So the issues that I had, and as a result, the money's gone. Various ways, holding the shares and watching it go up and down, and ultimately stay down after the stock split, whatever they call that thing with AMC. And that's a big problem for me right now, given the fact that I've been picking from those shares, cutting them in half, all of that we've talked about. But it just is what it is. Even now, I still have my shares. I'm still holding on for dear life, even now. And it's like that perseverance I'm proud of as an ape. Even though this ape thing, we've been drugged through the mud and rendered helpless. For those of us who did it my way, hopefully you didn't. But like for those of us who really had our lives wrapped up in this and our hearts wrapped up in this, and all of our money wrapped up in this, we've this is what happened. This is how it goes. And so it's like, you know, I am proud of us because we did stay committed. I stayed committed. I rode it to the ground like I said I was going to do, just like I would have rode it all the way to the top, just like I say I would. And I still plan on having some shares going forward. I'm still a believer. They haven't covered, you know. The manipulation is real. What they've done is not right. They are not being held accountable. My purpose is necessary, and my suffering is blessed. That's how I feel about it right now as it pertains to my path as an ape. I've prayed every single day this process has been, including this morning, and I feel an overwhelming peace in this process of my struggles, no different than when my mother passed away, no different than when I was in a couple other different situations that the Lord was with me in as they were bad. It's just an understanding that the strength I need is the strength I have. No different than when I decided to continue to hold my shares and was working to build my shares and wasn't putting any money anywhere else, because I was sacrificing everything so that I could have them shares and put those shares in a position that I could be proud of, so I could leave that money for my family, so that I could pay this bill that I've run up this way, so that I could pay off my car that I've since lost, so that I could ultimately put myself in a position and invest in myself, in the things that I ultimately have developed since my channel and all the other stuff that I've already said, my art, that I didn't even know I wanted to do at the time. So it's like, I have works that could probably take care of a lot of things in my life if they were sold properly and marketed properly, plenty of works. I just am the same thing that makes me the artist I am and the broadcaster that I am. It's the same thing that makes me the person I am in other areas is no good. And without the change within myself having been made yet, it is what it is. So I don't know whether to regret the confusion is in place as it pertains to not being appreciative of the current sufferings, you know what I mean? Or the current humiliation of things not working out after being so gung-ho about them. But at the same time, it's like you do have that peace, you do have that love, you do have that understanding that you stood for the right things, and history will ultimately be kind to me, especially when they do unearth all of the things that the apes were trying to unearth and bring light to in regards to our efforts. You know, we were put in positions that we weren't supposed to be in as shareholders, quite honestly. And we had the choice to leave at any time, you know what I mean? No question about it. No one held a gun in my head and told me to do this. But my ethics and my belief in what it is that right and wrong is about, and what it is that money truly represents, and how it's being manipulated and sit in certain places, and how education is being siphoned away, and clean water is being siphoned away, and various things that funds are needed for all over the world. And then you see this happening in the stock market, and you understand that they're manifesting those funds out of nothing, while hardworking people all over the world are forced to live however they're forced to live, or people are forced to do whatever it is that they're doing, while money is literally growing on a tree somewhere and being used basically to make more of itself out of nothing. And when you know that that's happening, and you know it's being siphoned from hardworking people who are investing in it without really knowing that what they're investing in, when you understand that it's happening, you put a stop to it. I got one life. I don't have any children, nothing like that. I'm just my own self, and I've struggled with my mental health all my life. But I haven't struggled with what I believe is right and wrong. Struggles with ethics as it pertains to where money should be prioritized in my life. Humanity matters more, and I don't know why I don't equate humanity and going to get money. It's the same thing, because you can help a lot of people with a lot of money, but it just seems like in order to get money, you got to take from. You got to continue to put into the overall system that is in place that prioritizes money over life, over faith. And the only good thing I can really do in regards to finding money is spend it on something like this, because any other thing I was spending it on basically was just either to feed myself, pay into this living situation, which was going nowhere fast. Even though I was very appreciative of the price, it was just like, it's going nowhere. I'm working a job I hate. I'm doing nothing to build myself. I couldn't get out of my own brain to take other avenues, you know what I mean, while working, so that I can make other things happen. It wasn't time. I was so tired, you know, that kind of thing. It was just like, Lord, just give me something that would take me out of this loop of nothingness that everyone seems to be okay with. And he did. There came AMC. And I didn't quit my job right away or nothing. Like I said, I continued to pour into it till I got enough shares at a good enough price. And it was just like, yo, I'm going to continue to do this regardless, but I just couldn't do that job anymore, man. I couldn't do it. I could not do it, waking up every single day knowing that I owned something that was supposed to take care of that, all of that. And I just couldn't. It got to a point where, you saw it all if you were on the channel watching back then. I just could not do it anymore. And everything that transpired after that has led me here. 6,000 art pieces later, God knows how many of these entries, both Laker and therapy sessions, probably 1,000 videos. And it's just frustrating because I'm alone, and a lot of things that I need to, in order to grow the channel and grow my art pieces and grow all my brand, it's not in my head. You know what I mean? The education. I was too anxious to go get an education. To be completely honest with you, for those who are following me for the first time, I never went to school, man. I went to school once a month, bro. Like, I could not bring myself to be there for nothing. And my mother got tired of fighting me, trying to get me to go. So I would just stay home, play video games, follow basketball stuff, NBA stuff. You know what I mean? Lay down, get heavier, get more depressed, while everybody else was out there trying to find all the answers to the things that it is I need to know. Learning whatever it is that they were learning in school that made them better at what it is that they are. Helping them understand the context so that they don't speak out of turn without understanding that certain other things need to be understood in order for your confidence to make any sense in the conversation. These type of things I had to learn and bump in my head outside of school. I went back and got my GED, but it wasn't the same as making sure that you were there every day, developing the day-to-day, I gotta go there, I come home schedule that people get when they just keep that consistency in their lives. That's why I always talk about basketball and load management the way that I do, because I know once you get used to something, you stay used to that rhythm. I can stay at a job for 3 years' time till I run out of gas, and then eventually I gotta get back to retreating to the same conditions that I'm used to. which allow for me to have space like this to be by myself and do whatever it is that I do. Otherwise, I'm an unhappy soul. And I think that comes from not having the consistency of going to school for 12 straight years without blemishes on the record in regards to attendance. Having that consistency to want to work at it every day and have that drive, it's foreign to me. That's not my rhythm. I'm a creative. I work on my own time. I do things my own way. And because of it, I really have confidence and I'm very, very good at what I do. Very good. And so it gets to a point where it's like, wherever God wants to take me from here, I want to take what I've done here and take it there. But can I do that if I'm constantly responsible for certain things that are necessary to be responsible for, just to function like everybody? If I'm constantly looking to do things my own way, how can I ever make it? And if I go back into those environments that often make me burn out, this time, how will it be? This time I have even less of a desire to do it. This time I feel even less strong inside when it comes to stuff like that, and more likely to want to walk away from there, pick up the phone and do this. I don't know how to really go get out of my own way, I guess. How to want to not, I guess, by way of this. And you know what? I gotta be honest about how I view myself in a one way that isn't so positive. It may be something somebody else will agree with. But it just comes down to, you gotta step up and not let the comfort you used to keep you from stress-free living. That's really a trait of mine that I don't have down at all. And I equate it to my mental health. But I also think it has a lot to do with just my overall temperament in life, my overall way of looking at things. Comfort. You know, and I don't hold anyone accountable for that but myself. You know, I look back and I know that I was raised in a single parent household. My mother was strong, intelligent. She gave me ethics that belong to the Lord, you know what I mean? Things that have to do with the Christian faith, religion. She worked hard. She believed in going to work every day. She didn't have bad attendance. She didn't have this trait. She was not a depressed person. She was actually a social butterfly. Very, very bubbly, very smiling, you know what I mean? Very nice energy. And, you know, she also had not a mean streak, but she could get very protective of her family, and she would get angry if she needed to, you know. But I said all that to mention her, to say that she raised me to work hard. She raised me to be a man, to protect my family and be a protector, so to speak. Responsible, pay my bill. There were things in regards to that I think we could have did better in terms of my development. But we've learned a lot. I've learned a lot since, obviously, times have changed, so you just get a better understanding of what you need or what you don't, you know, how to help children or what have you, through allowing them an opportunity to kind of be more involved in certain things that you do, bill paying and stuff like that. She really didn't want me to be stressed by a lot of that, and so I would be kind of deterred from asking her to help me learn certain things that would allow me to have a bit more of a conditioning for doing certain things that need to be done business-wise. I'm used to allowing others, her particularly, to do it, and that's where my biggest criticism of myself, and I think it's a positive criticism, because I'd like to see myself grow in that area and mature, and just grow a temperament for just paperwork and handling different things and structuring my life in a way that makes sense. You know, just being a bit more mature as it pertains to everything, really, as it pertains to business. Everything really as it pertains to calling people and meeting deadlines and communicating with businesses and communicating with bill collectors or whatever the case may be, communicating with the government, money and all this different stuff that needs to be structured properly in a man's life so he can have peaceful nights and peaceful days. I never allowed myself any of that by trying to stay far away from those things, and I've allowed myself the excuse of my mental health, but now it's like the consequences meet me not. I'm waiting for family to pick me up, and then my mother's not around, you know. My father, that was never the role in his life to pick me out of situations and stuff like that. It just wasn't the dynamic. I don't think I would have probably asked him for anything if he were around. I think for me, it's just I'm in a weird place between having a wild confidence about what it is that I've been doing here, thinking I'm great at it and loving myself at it, and looking at the reality of my situation and being conditioned to not handle it properly at all, being conditioned to look at things that really, really matter like a child would look at those things. And so that criticism of myself is something I would really love to overcome. It doesn't align with my ethics as a person. It's not something I would suggest you do or get used to. I don't think I have a right to blame my mother for it, even though I see reasoning for how that some of this may have been caused by certain things that she allowed. And I wrestle with that, how much of that I can really say without sounding as if I'm blaming my mother, or how much of that am I blaming her for that I should not. I don't know. But I do know that I'm ready to leave this apartment. Honestly, I'm ready to be ready for the consequences that are unknown, which are not something I'm ready for at all. I love my space. I love my peace. I believe I deserve to be here based on some things that aren't fixed, as I've already told you guys in the previous video. But even just the same, it's like this is far over my head, and I do know what is in place in regards to the money that's not been paid. You know, I understand their positioning. I'm not confused by that. What I was counting on was the money being there, so that on this day I could just fork it over. But when that day came where I needed to fork it over, it wasn't there, and I was not in a position to give it to him for any reason. And I don't know, honestly, that I could did anything different about that. That's what makes me kind of have some weird mesh of sadness and peace. Like, I don't know truly that I could have did anything else. Because at the end of the day, when I quit that job, I was basically somebody that didn't really want to live anymore, to be honest with you. I don't know that I verbalized that very much back then, but I was so miserable with my mindset, miserable with the stress of not having MOAS take place, miserable with just not having accomplished very much, you know, in my life, and just, you know, the specifics of the circumstances around me, whatever they may have been at the time. It was just, I was tired of working security, you know. And I told you guys I had gotten so manic at the time in regards to that I was driving 120 miles an hour home, you know, just like completely unstable, man. And so that's what I guard against, is that initial instability that I brought back home that I was trying to manage. And a lot of what it is that needed to be dealt with, I think I dealt with in this house, but also too developed even worse mental health concerns just the same. So even though I'm not necessarily as much inner pain, now my brain is working against me in regards to doing other things which could indeed cause me more trauma and pain. But my faith is strong. My prayers are strong. My body is strong. That's the funny thing about it. My body is different. big reason why I retreated and stayed away from school in the first place was because I hated my body. It wasn't because I hated my spirit or didn't believe in my mind. It was because when I looked in the mirror, I saw something that I didn't think was too fine at all. And even when I retreated into this place, when I left the job, I wasn't in the shape I'm in now. The confidence that I hold now, physically, is different. But a man isn't judged by his muscles, he's judged by his money, his morals, his responsibilities. Now he loves his family, loves God, takes care of business, stands on his word, stands on the principles, stays true to his team or whatever it is he's a part of. These are the things a man's judged by. And I let a lot of those things go by the wayside because I was trying to be an ape in this way while holding this brain with this conditioning, while simultaneously trying to do this channel, be this artist, and all these other things that I really, really, really love being. And so now I'm just waiting for the Lord to open the doors for me so that I can segue from what it is that's going on right now to what it is that is going to be next. And I don't want my mental health or my spiritual health or the circumstances of stress to keep me from continuing the process of working on my physical health, my mental health, my spiritual health, of course, and positive ways of coping with that stress. So that's where I'm at with it as far as how to handle my situation with this apartment. I don't know that I have the tools, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know that I have the tools with me right now to face this right now. I don't know what to do for myself. I've called my uncle a couple times. You know, I think he's turning me toward the Lord rather than turning me toward anything else. And that's fine, I guess, because I'm a grown man. I better figure myself out. But it's like, that's kind of who I was counting on. Those guys, they're the ones who I think would be who I would turn to kind of get me out of any hole in my life. And I just think that they're dealing with my grandfather right now and probably don't really want to deal with me. And that's just part of the evil of the circumstance when you allow yourself to fall out of position as a man, let your money go by the wayside. Then it's like, well, yeah, you might have some people that might want to help you on a good day, but maybe this ain't a good day. And you got to be real with that. And so that's just part of my story, you know what I mean? That's part of my story. I've always been able to fall back on someone, and now there's no one. So that's really what it is. It's just like you put yourself in a position to not have anything for whatever reason, and you look up and you don't have what you need when you need to, and this just is what it is. And people can come knock on your door and tell you to get out of your own house, tell you they're going to leave you 7 days or whatever the heck they're going to leave me if they rule against me. And so I don't blame anybody for wanting me out of here. I would want me out of here too, as I've said many times. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know what God wants other than for me to have done what it is that I did. And as I continue to pray every single day, even now, even right now, the energy is still like, it's not pulling me toward doing anything that I should be doing as it pertains to calling a lawyer, you know, trying to address this in some spiritual way. Nah, the only thing the spirit is trying to instruct me in doing is just kind of coping here. Come to you, talk to you guys, let you know what the update is rather than running from you guys like I did the last time this happened. Like, come over here and let everybody know that Brandon's having a tough day, that he would love to be stronger in his heart, that his voice today, and I speak in the third person for no reason, but that my voice today is something that I take for seriously, you know what I mean? Whether I'm talking about the Lakers or talking about myself, talking about whatever. And the example of what happens to me matters a lot, and I feel concerned that I'm leading people in the wrong direction by telling them, you know, anything and not displaying better, you know. And I don't know that I can display better. All I am is what I am. But at the same time, it's like, it's gotta be better. You know what I mean? It's gotta be some way to get into my head to say, yo, hey, it's fight or flight time. Let's go out there and do some security work. Let's go out there and start finding out about shelters. Let's go find out about whatever public housing or advanced housing possibilities may be available to somebody like myself. I'm just a guy, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I just got to put myself somewhere. You know, I don't want to be a burden to friends and family and stuff like that. But this is the reality of my circumstance. You know, I'm facing homelessness, and it's my fault. And it's because I decided to stand still instead of work, which is something that's going to happen to anybody, and I mean anybody who does that. So let me be an example to you. If you have mental health concerns, or you handle your stress poorly, or you have some weird mental thing that keeps you from wanting to sell anything, like I do, some weird stuff in your head that just ultimately keeps you from being your best self, know that isolation is the worst thing you can do for yourself. Even if your intentions are good, you don't want to do it alone. That's where I went wrong. It's choosing to do something this stressful and this strenuous alone, and then allowing myself very little wiggle room or little room for error for anything to work out. And it is what it is, and it's confusing because you do it in prayer. You hear the voice of God tell you to sit still. You hear the voice of your mother telling you that you've done it. Hell, I heard a voice yesterday telling me I won, right before the basketball game that we lost. The day before that, rather. So it's like, the voices in my head, so to speak, do not necessarily remain consistent in regards to what it is that'll bring me the best worldly consequences. But that of the best timely consequences, just the same to be who I need to be at any given moment. And that's why the timing of things is something that I've learned to trust, even though the Lord is asking me to do very unorthodox things that have left me in very unorthodox positions. At the end of the day, I always find myself looking in the mirror and saying, I love who you've become. And I don't think you could have been who you've become on any other path. So it's like, on one hand, the reality of the world makes you confused. On the other hand, you trust that the Lord has got something inside of you that will shine bright because of what path you're on. So that's what I want to encourage everybody else to be on. Even if you stumble, even if you're on if you're having a bad few days or a couple steps on your path, just know that the path itself is going to be fine so long as you stay balanced in your energy and what it is that you are trying to be while on that path. Because that's where I went wrong. You see, in everywhere I went wrong, it was because I allowed myself, while on that path, to lose myself. I never found myself off the path of God because I was always praying to the right God. I was always going straight to Him, for better or for worse. But sometimes I lose myself. So that's really what it comes down to. Don't lose yourself on the path. And yeah, man, I just don't have it right. And if I did, then there would be stability in my life, and I would be feeding others, putting others in positions to have. That's really what it comes down to. If I were doing it right, I wouldn't be in need of help, but I would be that help for others. So I'd like to do it right. But at the same time, I got to go through a little suffering first. And I'm looking to be ready for it. It's a God's honest truth. I'm looking to be ready for the suffering if necessary, or surprised by the safety of whatever blessings have come. But I tell you this, I'm not looking forward to being a coward. I'm not looking forward to being the same type of coward I was that put me in a position to allow things to get this bad. Same type of entitled person or childish person that would allow my situation to ever be this bad. For any reason. But in that same breath, I'm very thankful that the Lord has made me very confident. Just the same, even in the midst of these flaws, that I'm still standing here telling you guys that I love who I've become, I love who I'm going to become, and I love where I'm headed. Even if I don't see where it's headed, I know that I'm with God because I've called for Him to guide my steps, and I'm calling for Him to guide yours too. Even if you're not necessarily a believer, I got you. So that's where we're at, man. My voice. I thank you guys for listening to it. I ramble because I'm kind of in a quasi space of denial and prayer right before your very eyes. It's kind of what my brain does when I have to absorb certain things. Don't know what to do, so I don't do anything at all. Um, but most of the times when I'm dealing with stuff like this, I don't have an outlet in the past, deep past, because I've obviously had this channel for a couple years, but just a empty and a comfortable outlet just to create some content, just to let my mind go. It's a beautiful thing. So I encourage everybody to have some type of outlet, even if you're not using this as a journal like I do. Do something like that for yourself, maybe like the old school people did, and write something down, hide it somewhere so nobody can read it. But whatever gets out what's in and helps you see you from a lens that's different later on, I think it's a good thing. It really is. So yeah, I feel like I'm on a divine path. This may not look too good, but man, money comes fast sometimes, bro. All it takes is a good year for a good man, I tell you. Money comes fast. And so I'm not looking to manifest anything as it pertains to money, because I don't know what comes with what. But what I can say is I'm sure looking forward to the stability of not needing to ask nor owe. Looking very much forward to that in this life, and I don't want to quit life to find that. You know what I mean? The evil inside of me would want just to die to get away from this. To be honest with you, I have no desire right now of any kind to engage in that energy. None at all. I speak life, like big life, happy life. I actually think I want to be someone who's rich one day, but rich with a purpose, wealthy with the intentions of providing a happy life to my son, like I'm seeing Bron do for his boy. You know what I mean? I just saw Bronny going to prom, got his Porsche, got his suit on with the crosses on it. I'm like, the Holy Spirit is with him, man. That's awesome. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. That's living, man. Not to say that I could ever turn to LeBron James or even looking to earn that type of billions, but the point is you want to be able to provide for your seed. You want to be able to put yourself in a position to not only be accountable for different works, but actually have them manifest into things that can provide. And the only way to do that in this world is to turn it into little green papers of white people, man. And for some reason or another, there's something in between me and that. It's deep. It's always been deep. It ain't just as simple as me being a lazy black dude who don't want to work. It's something else. So that's what I'm saying, man. I'm just a lost creative, very intent on continuing to create and running out of time in this space of peace. And I don't want it anymore if it ain't for me. That's what I woke up saying, like, God, I want out of here. Why? Because it's time. I'm being forced out of here, so I need to want out. That's it. I need to want out. And this place has been good to me. It came to me in a whole miracle. A whole miracle. As you guys heard the story a million times. And it seems like it's going to leave to me in the same type of divine. And I've been attacked all year long spiritually, I feel like, in regards to wanting me to turn my spirit away from good energy, in regards to the facing of these consequences. But now that I'm here, the Lord came through for me so much, it's just like, man, I don't want to engage in nothing at all that is going to make him unhappy with me. I don't want to engage in anything that's going to make me unhappy with me. Regardless of how strong or hard this hit is about to be, I just want to be next to God on this process, man. Nothing else works. So yeah, that's what I want to say to you guys, man. Sometimes things get really hard in life for you, for me. Sometimes things you're not used to, come your way. Sometimes people get used to stuff like this and it doesn't make it any easier, but at least they're more accustomed to dealing with it. But when you ain't used to it, boy, does it get hard. But I want to tell you, man, I don't know what your life is going to bring you, but you can build. You can build, man. You can build from absolute scratch. And that's exactly what I want to tell you guys, because at the end of the day, sometimes you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you lose everything, you can't start over. But I've seen many people start over and build bigger. built bigger, stronger, faster. Just because they know what it took to build already, they can do it again. They know what it takes. But I just want to tell you, if you have to build from scratch, if you lose it all, if you find yourself in a position where it ain't there no more, you can build. So that's what I want to say, man. It ain't bringing me no closer to fixing my situation, but I just wanted to come here and give you some good energy, man. God is so good. This is not a time to be unhappy at all. Despite my circumstances, I just know that the Holy Spirit got something right around the corner for me. Right around the corner, man. I can feel it. And hopefully it's life-changing, because I am kind of tired of the same old thing. Even though I am wired for the same old thing, I tell you, I'm tired of this stress. Every time I look up with the card thing, you saw all the stuff at the therapy session. You seen how it went every day. I'd come up here telling y'all I got anxiety because they're going to take the card. They got anxiety. And that's what I was thinking about this morning. If there's anything I'm looking forward to in regards to having this place ripped away from me, it's putting behind me the place where all of the pain took place. I'm mourning my mother's passing here. I'm mourning my grandmother's passing here, and various disappointments. And then those anxieties that have been developed here, including having a dependency on this place right now. Clearly, we're at a point where I need to not want it anymore. And the space that comes with it, and the isolation that comes with it, I have to hate it. Not only because I have to get rid of it, but because it is a dependency that is not healthy. And I don't hate it. It's not now. In fact, I feel so comfortable in this place. Myself in this place. This place has been coddling me and comforting me just like my mother did when I was a baby. Comforted me, kept me weak, but also kept me strong. Gave me the opportunity to do all these different things that I did. Develop all this stuff that has been developed. This is my home, but I am not welcome here. And that, my friends, is something that I can absorb with the Spirit of the Holy Ghost. Because at the end of the day, I ain't paid for this place. And the only reason why I ain't paid for this place is because I needed to stop working at that place. And I needed help that wasn't in place. And that is it. But God is sufficient. So what I need to want, I will want now. What is best for me will be desirable to me now. What will be best for my circumstances is exactly what I'm welcoming into my life by way of these words. And whatever is best for you as well, I welcome too. Because my voice means that much to me, that I don't ever want to build me up without the intention of making that voice responsible enough for all of us. And that is something very easy to say in squalor. Not very easy to say when you have about 7 or 8 different contracts with 7 or 8 different companies, and they're all paying you multi-millions of dollars to keep your ethics aligned with theirs and not necessarily your own. That matters to me a lot in this life. Probably too much. But just like anything else that's no good for me, I welcome some balance in regards to it. Not only as it pertains to how I view success and what it means to sell out or not sell out, but also other avenues that will allow me to keep my peace while maintaining what's needed so that everything can be as God wants it to be. And that I align with God's will so that I'm not a confused mind while saying these things. See, this is another thing that I've noticed about people who sometimes are very religious, but they're counter productive to God's will. They say holy things and then they want to go out and maim or hurt or whatever the case. And to not be like that is important to me, while identifying as someone who is spiritual and of faith, but also concerns of the mind. There's a lot of people that attach themselves to spiritual stuff and just, you know what I mean? Very careful to not allow myself to be seen that way. Very careful to not allow my mind to go in places like that as I struggle. I do not desire to do anything but fix my own situation. Not take from anybody else to do so. And I understand that desperation can force people into those circumstances. I don't think that I've honored that enough in this life, or otherwise I wouldn't have found myself in this situation. I was listening to Gabrielle Union Wade. She was talking about her financial situation, more or less, not specifically, but just how she feels anxious about it. She spoke of anxiety. She spoke of scarcity and the fear of not being able to hold people down. And I just sit here and I say, you know, what she's afraid of, I needed more fear of, I suppose. You know, my fear allowed me to coerce myself into the space that she's most afraid of. Only to find myself unhappy with those consequences just the same. Strange. But at the same time, it's like, I think I know what I need to know that I don't need to do it again. But that's also what I said the last time I found myself in these situations, friends. So this ain't the first time. I think the pattern is set for me to make mistakes, but the difference is I have this outlet. I have this art and various different things that allow me to know that God doesn't necessarily want me to stay in this loop. Maybe not even for another spin, so to speak. So whatever's new, I welcome into my life. And, you know, for the betterment of it, basically. So that's what I'm here to say, man. I hope this video makes other people feel better. I certainly know it will make me feel better when I listen back to it. And you're going through what it is I'm going through. You just want to feel better, honestly. And then you want solutions. And so the temperament to find those solutions is coming. Because I'm claiming it. Not necessarily looking to run from it. I want help. And I'm good enough of a human being to deserve it at this point. And I'm powerful enough of a person to do something good when I get on my feet. You know, and that's what I gotta say. I got some bad childish conditionings. You know, weaknesses within, and I ain't gonna display myself the best way, I think, until I get myself on my feet in that way. But the hard work, I'm very much ready to be ready for the hard work. I'm very much ready to be ready. To not be looking for the big golden shower of money to come save me. I've been waiting to not want that. You know what I mean? Every morning, you wake up in the morning saying, well, if it goes bad, the family will bail me out. Well, if it goes bad, maybe somebody will such and such, some magical something. And at the end of the day, I just don't want any of that weakness attached to my psyche anymore. I want to work hard. And that's a very serious thing to say when you listen to me talk. And I know I've worked hard in regards to my art on this channel. I've worked hard in regards to my playlist. I've put in hours, many. So to identify that I haven't worked hard because I haven't realized my worth in regards to my works is hurtful. But it's actual. Actual, man. I've done a lot in this house. This should have made me a lot of money. A lot. I'm sure you know that at this point. So that's really where it is, man. That's where my head is. Y'all see that stack back there? I don't know what the hell to do with that. What the hell do people do with art, man? That's not sitting there as a product of my mental health being bad. That's sitting there as a product of me not knowing what the hell to do with all that paper. I just want people to know that. I have every understanding that is a fire hazard, and I also have every understanding that I don't want to keep all that. But at the same time, I'm afraid to throw it away because it's art. It may be worth something someday. Some of those pieces are very good. All of them, I have digital copies of, but those digital copies are just that. Those are the OGs, baby. And so, like, would anybody care for this in regards to, like, do you donate these things? Like, I don't know what to do with this stuff. Probably just put it in a dumpster somewhere, honestly. I probably won't even keep it, bro. You know, because at the end of the day, it's just paper. I had intentions of doing amazing things with the money that was coming my way from Moaz. when I say amazing, that's a horrible overuse of words. Because amazing to me is doing things for others, and that wasn't what I was referring to. I was referring to just changing my life around. But amazing things is what I want to be wanting to do. But I'm talking about just like answers for different things that are in this house that look ridiculous. It's not like I didn't have those answers. I was just waiting. You look at me in these dirty ass white shirts, it ain't because I ain't cognizant enough of the fact that I need to buy more. It's just that I'm comfortable with the fact that I don't need that right now while I'm holding my shares, bro. All I really needed was to eat, smoke weed, and keep my art supplies keep coming. You know, that was the stuff I really spent my money on over the last couple of months. Smoke my weed, keep my temperament right, and the rest was just enough to keep everything else going. Keep the cell phone on. I didn't need nothing, man. So I didn't get anything. Clothing, shoes, all this stuff. I didn't buy nothing for myself, man. I let all that stuff go. All that money I didn't purchase nothing. No new headphones, no new phone upgrade, nothing, bro. I sacrificed everything to live this way and hold my shares. Everything. And all I really wanted the Lord to do, honestly, was realize it. Not necessarily like just like acknowledge it, but more so like help it manifest into the money it's supposed to be. Make Moaz commence. Rain from the heavens the money that's owed, so that I can do those amazing things for myself that I want to do. Like, get some real help, some actual mental help, with some good health care, for example. Or maybe buy myself some property, Or maybe just take $1 million and just invest in all these various different things that I do, so that you can actually hear of me and know that I exist. But the Lord had different plans for Moaz, and I could not stop buying weed, and I could not bring myself to not sit in this apartment for nothing in the world. Nothing in the world. And I believe it was God that told me to do it initially. I believe that in every bit of my understanding. What can I do, man? This is what I did with my time. This is what I did with my time on earth. Made mistakes. And I'm still here, so who knows what happens next, but that's why I want people to go back and check out those videos. That's why I want to do something with this art. That's why I want people to discover my playlist, because there's not much else to my 30s. It wasn't much else to my life. But what I accomplished in those times while in this apartment was pretty much my whole 30s. Pretty much. I think I came here when I was 31? Something like that, when I first moved into this apartment. Never let nobody come over. Never had no lady visitors, nothing like that, because I don't really remember what I was thinking. I think it was because of the neighborhood. At the time, I perceived it to be a bad neighborhood, so I didn't want none of my old lady girls that was used to me living on Wilshire to come over and see me over here and stuff like that. Plus, it was a small one-bedroom apartment, so it was just different for me, and I just got used to that. Work every day, come home, and just the days piled up, the jobs. The money did nothing with the jobs, they just did nothing. Just like anything else, when you work $16 an hour job, you ain't gonna do nothing, you ain't going nowhere. You got enough to make your way, you got enough to keep your phone on, that was it. It's got to a point where it was nothing, bro. It was nothing, I hated it. So I stopped. Even if it didn't make any sense to, I just stopped, bro. And I promised myself I would never go back, and I prayed every day that the Lord would get me out of it beforehand, to a point where it just... And I'm telling you, man, I feel even less desiring to do any of those things, unfortunately. The weakness within is very much strong in that regard. Applying for a job, I need to. If I'm gonna be living in anybody else's house, they're gonna force me to work, and at that point I probably will want to, because I ain't gonna want to be in the house with nobody. You know what I mean? I'm gonna want to get out of that place as much as possible. This morning I was thinking about, like, right before I turned on the camera, right before I said that negative mindset statement, right before I saw it on Facebook, the thought that was going through my head was, I should just walk outside and start wandering. There's really nothing else for a person like me to do at the end of the day. You just go outside and you see where the hell you can find yourself. That's what I feared all my life would end up being my life. That I would just be a walker, street walker. Because I couldn't bring myself to really do anything else but stay in my little comfort zone. So I'd probably just find little comfort zones or pockets of places, just sit, talk to myself like I was prone to do. Yeah, that's the truth, man. And a lot of people that love me a lot, I don't think they really know that. Or the people who are my family, I don't think they really understand that about me. I really perceived myself that way all my life. I thought that it would end up with me wandering the street, walking homeless, because I couldn't bring myself to do nothing. Couldn't go to schools. It's just a conditioning, man. The mind is the condition that I've lived with, and now it's a condition that's kicking my butt out of my apartment. So you just don't know what to do. You want treatment, but you can't afford it. The good treatment, I can't afford it. Can't even afford to freaking get there unless I want to catch a bus, which I told myself I didn't want to do. Like, it's just never get out of your own way unless you allow yourself to. And so that's where I'm looking forward to being able to allow myself to get out of my own way with this particular trial, and with God's grace, we'll get through it. You know what I mean? That's really where I'm at, and I believe I will. In fact, I'm certain I will, because I ain't got no intention to quit. But I'm also by myself. And desire to go outside and just wander really does reside in me right now. Just go outside and literally leave this place behind. And whatever conditioning that I'm used to, whatever I'm so comfortable with, whatever I'm married to, whatever is lost, it's just lost. But a negative mindset will never bring about positive results, and that is ultimately what snapped me out of that. And it's exactly what snaps me out of it now. I don't want to wander, because I can't shower when I wander. I can't eat comfortably when I wander. I got skin allergies and food allergies and all kinds of different allergies. I wouldn't survive very long if I wandered. That's the reality of my situation. I can't even do laundry with Tide laundry detergent, because my skin itches to no end when that happens. I can't even wear Scully hats no more. Remember that Laker hat I used to wear? I don't wear it anymore because it creates a lot of problems. I think it's what it's been washed in. Probably should be thrown away now. I don't know why I didn't throw that thing away. But seriously, it's living has been hard for me over the last couple of years while I've been dealing with all of this. All of these things developed while I was going through that, as if you follow these therapy sessions. So it's just, I've grown stronger in the midst of these problems. I feel strong right now. And the conditioning of having to adapt to those situations, not conditioning, keep using that word, but having been forced to adapt to all of that and successfully doing so, including the fridge that still ain't there. Eating canned goods every day, rice and veggies every day, oatmeal, which I haven't eaten yet, I need to, every day. Found out that my body's now probably allergic to almonds now too. I think almonds are officially off the list, so it's like I've been eating those all my life. Can't eat them no more. Milk, can't. So it's like all these different things, man, coming up against me, and you feel guilty for wanting to leave the earth. You feel guilty for being angry at your situation or God or yourself for not doing more. You feel guilty for needing from your family more than what you have to share with them. You feel guilty for not being there when you didn't necessarily need them, even through the midst of all of your conditioning struggles. You still understand that you were conditioned that way, and it wasn't your heart that kept you away from those people. So unfortunately, maybe they don't know that. I don't know what I deserve, but I know I'm tired of struggling with my mental health. I'm tired of struggling with my money. I'm tired of sacrificing all of my money into something that hasn't manifested in anything. I'm tired of waiting for something that isn't happening. I'm tired of not being able to sue the people that have wronged me in my life, whoever they may be, on the other side of this stock market thing. I'm tired of being sued by this company that wants to kick me out of my apartment, constantly ripping me away from my from the comfort zone that I've created for myself. That keeps me feeling as if I'm safe, even though it really brings me no safety at all when you think about it. I'm sick of being alive without my mother. But I'm fine and happy that she's no longer suffering. I don't think I'm sick of being alone, but I'm sick of being comfortable being alone while everybody's lonely around. You know, people are lonely in the world, and I don't know what that feels like. Because I'm afraid to be around others, for the most part, for any long length of time. I wish I knew what loneliness felt like. I wish I longed to be around people more so that I wouldn't feel guilty when I'm in their presence for being away. That's the truth. I wish these videos weren't so long that I was making. I wish I had every coin to pay this lady her money so I can get her and her company out of my life for the rest of it. Truthfully, I appreciate Babcock and Associates for allowing me to live in this place this long without receiving payment. It's not their fault any of this is happening, as far as I can tell, in regards to them trying to get me out of here. That's standard. But just the spiritual aspect of it, how things have gone in my life, the timing of which this is happening, it's been rough, man. It's just the timing, I guess. I would love for this to have happened when I had it, because there were a lot of times when I did. So I'm just looking forward to getting this out of my life, man. If I gotta file for bankruptcy, whatever. You know, I'm looking forward, very much forward, to finally knowing what the hell is wrong with me. Disability, if there's a disability check coming my way, fair. If I don't deserve one, fair. I just want to know what the hell this is, and why has it robbed me of so much for so long. That's what I want to know. If it's a combination of my faith in the Lord and His divine design on my life that allows me to stay on the outskirts of what makes sense while nestled creviced in a space that allows me to be as I am with all this junk that I've done, making no money. Like, it's just the perfect way for me to be. Am I a legend in this world? I don't know. I feel like I am. When I look at all the different things that I've been able to do, be a part of by myself, I think I am a legend. A living one who's struggling in his life like a lot of legends have. I really think that highly of myself, you guys. I really do. That's the sad part about it. I think I'm a legend. But at the same time, I feel like the Lord has had a very, very unique touch on my life that has kept me from what everybody else does. And it's just, I don't know, man. It only feels like it's partially attached to love. It feels like a lot of it's punishment, as if I did something wrong in the past life and now I'm being confined, or as if there's a spell on me or something that's kept me from reaching my highest potential. I don't know. It's like a force field keeping me from living my life. It's all mental. So that's just what I want to tell people, man. I don't know what is going to make me better. What's going to make me not, be in this cycle. What's going to get me out of this financial hole that I've willingly walked into while trying to do what I was doing, which I thought was righteous. And ultimately, I'm wondering if I was telling people the wrong thing, if this MOAS thing doesn't happen anytime soon. If the government is in fact going to just allow them to do this forever. If they can just literally tell people that what they own isn't what it's actually worth, and then proceed to take from whatever they choose. I'm just wondering how long God is going to allow all this to take place. Because prayers have been prayed. And I have applied my faith. And I really don't deserve all of this. I really don't. BDF 44, I thank you all for watching.